Well, there were some real developments on the political and economic front out of my interview with the Prime Minister on Friday at the Sky News Economic Outlook event. As the PM talked up tax and economic reform that he says he wants to chat about at his productivity roundtable in August, he revealed he isn't up for the sort of tax reform that would see an increase in the goods and services tax and a resultant decrease in income tax. Are you open to raising the GST and lowering income tax?
Well, one of the things that we're trying to avoid is just that question.
You brought it on the agenda, though.
No. What we're trying to do is to have an adult conversation. And what has occurred over a long period of time is that people, is it on my agenda? No, it's not. Okay?
Would you consider it?
No. We're going to do interviews between now and August where we get asked by you and others to rule things in or out.
I'm not asking you to rule it out.
Yes, you are.
I'm asking if you'll consider it.
Yes, you are.
I'm actually curious, as is the audience, I'm sure, to what your view is about increasing the GST and lowering income tax.
Well, no, it's not something that we have given any consideration to. I mean, I'm a supporter of progressive taxation. Consumption taxes, by definition, are regressive in their nature. So that's something that, doesn't fit with the agenda.
The key word is regressive there, you can forget that. Well, he said in terms of budget repair, he did think the National Disability Insurance Scheme had too many people, particularly children, on the scheme, perhaps opening the way to more reform and a tightening of the NDIS. Are you happy with the situation where 11% of 6-year-olds and 15% of Australian 6-year-old boys are on the NDIS?
No, I'm not.
Is it time to take kids with mild autism off the NDIS?
No, I'm not. And one of the things that we've been trying to do is to make the system more sustainable. It had been allowed to just drift over the 3 terms of the former government. My government intervened. The vision of the NDIS wasn't that those sort of numbers that you just quoted go on the system.
Well, the PM also foreshadowed that when US President Donald Trump makes his tariff adjudication this week, the PM expects the status quo to exist, a 10% tariff on Australian goods. The only question is, will there be any movement on the higher 50% tariff on our steel exports?
We know that no country has a better tariff, if you like, level than 10%. Now, we'll continue to put our case as we do. We are in a position where, on July 9, that won't really have an impact on us because that's about other countries who have higher rates overnight.
We won't get a letter on July 9? We won't get a determination?
Well, we're on 10%.
That's what we're going to stay on after next week?
Well, I assume that will be the case.
And the PM was firm of the belief that the fact he hasn't had a face-to-face meeting yet with the President and only 3 phone calls is not about Australia's Ambassador Kevin Rudd having said bad things about the President in the past. Is the problem Kevin Rudd? I mean, he basically called him a traitor to the West, a village idiot, the most destructive president in history. Is there fire where there's smoke?
No.
So the administration's told you they've got no problem with Kevin Rudd, despite what he said?
Yeah, it's been very positive. No one could doubt his capacity, his hard work, his ability to work strongly. The discussions that I've had have been very positive, nothing but positive.
Well, the PM also indicated he'd like to see lower taxes more generally in this country. Would you like to see lower income tax in this country, including for the top rate?
I always want to see income taxes as low as possible and wages as high as possible.
Including the top marginal rate?
Well, we're the first government to reduce the top marginal rate. We increased that threshold.
Keating did.
No, in recent times. Paul Keating was last century, lifted it from 180 to 190, so that when we changed stage 3, something that was, we didn't envisage, we would go to when we went to the 2022 election, we didn't envisage that we would change it. I was fair dinkum about that. Circumstances, with the cost of living, with the pressures that we're on, with inflation, meant that I think it was a responsible thing to do. We did it.